Good morning, my friends. It is Monday at 9 o'clock in the morning. Now, I'm off today because I have a COVID. And I check up for my cataracts. And today, my vision is 20/20 in both eyes. Now, but that's 20/20 long vision. Now, when I want to watch my phone or do something, I must wear the little readers because I can't see up close. See, now when you first get your cataract surgery done, well, before you ever have it, and say your eyes are perfect, well, when you look and then you move back, your eyes focus in and out because that's normal. But when you get older like me and you get cataracts and then no longer does that work, well, now it's just a straight one lens and you have to wear a different lens to bring your eye back to whatever it is. And so that's how it is. But for the most part, I see pretty well. So I did want to put a video out here because, like I said, I try to do one video a week at least, if not two, but a lot of times I only have one time to do it, either Sunday night or Monday or whatever day I have off, if I get one, which is going to end up not being so much. But anyway, the only bad part about this whole cataract surgery is now, even though it was relatively cheap for the actual operation, now I'm probably going to have to work until I'm a little bit older till I can pay them off, because it's going to be like paying off a car, okay? So with that being said, there's that. Now, we had a lot of things that are going on right now. There's a part of Antarctica that just broke off. And these guys are coming on there, oh, it's normal. It's only point so and so percent of the whole landmass, and it happens all the time. And, well, I'm sorry. And then you got a picture of you in a suit like you think you're some big professional and you know everything you're talking about. And I've learned my lesson. I'm putting on my shoes like Mr. Rogers. But anyway, I've always said I don't trust what scientists and experts say or any of that crap. All I know is that the things that are happening, and they're happening because there's as our buddy old this is who, the heavy mass object is coming in. So that part is true. That is actually happening, and yes, the heavy mass object is coming in. Do we know when that's going to be? No, we don't. Okay, so, but is it going to happen within the next few years? Maybe. Only thing is, the longer it goes, the older I get. And I used to believe that this was going to happen when I was in my 40s. Well, now here I am, going into almost 65, and it still isn't here yet. So, it's like I said, I'm like Linus in a pumpkin patch waiting for this item to come through, and it's not here yet. And everybody, my little blonde girlfriend doesn't believe that it's there. Oh, it isn't. They tell us. They think the government would tell them and all that and everything else. Well, not so much. Okay, so like I said, I'm trying to get my shoe on like Mr. Rogers here. There we go. They're on, basically. So now, as we get into this, again, every day there's something on the news that's coming out. I'm going to put my sunglasses on so I can do like at the old days, because then my eyes won't be looking over here. I'll just have these on. So, they've had a few good actual reports of UFOs that they've cited, and they've turned them into the FBI, and the FBI are sitting there and they're telling you that it's real and that it's there. I tell people to get ready for the mass deception, not reception of, oh, here they come. They finally come to save us, and here they are. Now, when I was a little kid and way into astronomy as I was little, and then as I grew older, I still like it, and I still do. It's just that for me, when I walk out with my scope, I want to go look at the moon and point it to it, and there it is. And I know that's the moon, and I'm looking at it. Not that I know that I have to have 20 to 30 star systems in one day, which is what my astronomy class at college did. And I finally dropped out of it because it wasn't really for me. It was just like, that's not what I really wanted to take this for. And, oh, there's Mars, and zap right in, and there it is. You know what I mean? And with things like Stellarium and all these other online, what do you call them? Whatever they are, planetariums, you can find them on here and then just go out and look. So you don't need to really, it's like having a slide rule. Who uses that today? No one does. The internet does it for you. You just go out and there it is. Anyway, that's what I began to do. And as a child, I believed in a lot of things that were going to happen and thought, yep, one day all this is going to happen and they're going to show up and it's going to be so great and so whatever. And then as I got older and realized that in reality, they probably aren't really coming here for any good. And more than likely, it really isn't anybody from far away. It's far away as far as time goes, but it isn't really the star system a day go by and here they come and they're getting ready to be these nice guys and all this. No, I believe that it's probably got something more to do with time travel and whether or not these people that come and land are really from time or just us saying we are from somewhere else and they do look like us because they are. That's when you got to watch out. And these guys are going to say, yeah, but on our planet, we have this in us because we do, and it works, and we do this, and we worship this, and we do this, and yes, you see what I'm saying? So with that being said, it's a way to make us follow their timeline, so their timeline is the way it is. So do I believe that these guys are all coming here for the betterment of you and me? Not so much. Here's something else I'm going to go into. Something I've been waiting for 40 years. Well, maybe a little bit more, 45 years. So, and heavy into space since I was a kid, okay? Heavy into space since I was a kid. And when they did the first moon landing, and I'm on the fence with that one too because they've been kind of coming out and talking about that maybe the moon's within our atmosphere. And they said they found oxygen on it. So if that's true, then we can go to it if it's within our atmosphere. There's been a lot of conjecture that we can't get out beyond certain places because of the Van Allen belt and this and that or whatever, and that probes go there, but we can't. Now, the moon's a little different for me, but when I was little, when that happened, I think it was 69, so I'd have been 11 years old, on a summer when that happened, I spent every day on our couch watching this live broadcast, taking little naps and watching the whole thing. And my dad let me because we only had one TV. And of course, back in those days, TVs were ruled by your father or whoever it was, who was the main person with the TV. They were the ones that kind of controlled your TV. And so since my dad was the TV remote and controller, nobody else got to watch TV back then. But they allowed me to watch it that week. Now, of course, his brother didn't allow his kids to have TVs at all. They read. And they did their schoolwork. And they all went to college. So. But anyway, so that whole week, I sat on the couch and slept and watched the whole thing. Now, some people think it's fake by Stanley Kubrick. It could have been because no one knows what was really there. They wouldn't want something running by the camera. So rather than tell you that, they just filmed a phony landing, but they might have gone there. Maybe. No one knows. But then again, when the Apollo, I think it was the 13, where it got all fucked up and came back and they never got there, who's to say that they ever went? You never know. Maybe they did. That was the first successful try to go there and couldn't get there. You know what I mean? So, but either way. So what we're leading into is Mars. So now the Mars probe has these videos and pictures of this supposed red planet. Again, like I said, after 40-some years of waiting for all this to come and occur, I have to now say I'm severely let down, and I feel kind of bad that I spent all that time waiting and waiting and waiting for these pictures and videos to finally surface. And people were saying, well, how come you keep giving that to us in black and white? Oh, well, it comes that way. And then they show it to you, and you go, wow, it looks like the Nevada desert. I mean, so here's two scenarios. Either man did live there, which I think I do believe that planet, and whatever happened to them, the heavy mass object went by it and things happened, or whatever, but what they're showing us isn't it. It's here. How dejected after 45 years I was to see those pictures. I looked at that and I thought that when I was in my early, like 18, whatever, I thought, boy, and I thought I was going to flip out when I finally saw them. And I looked at them and I went, wow, they're showing us Nevada. It's the Nevada desert. Some spot in Nevada. They're just showing us that. That's all it is. Felt pretty down after all that time of waiting. But there is a thing called ET deception that they want to pull off. Okay? So know that that's going to happen. Now, there's a lot of things that are going on with old Sleepy Joe. No, never get the wrong idea with me. I don't like Trump. I never did. I didn't vote for him. But Joe, that dude, his brain is gone. His wife's standing right there by him. He starts going off on some tangent, forgot what he was talking about, and they had to put him back on track and say something to him to get him back where he was. And if you ever watch him, he's never alone. So when he was doing another thing, signing papers, the VP says and tells him what to do because he forgets what he goes, what am I signing? And she's all, well, you know what I mean? So all of a sudden, he doesn't know what he's doing. Do I believe there's somebody in the shadows doing it all? Yes. And they're undoing everything that guy did. Even if this was his major eye drop, they got rid of it and made it this one. Because that's how it is. So a lot of things with this current administration I don't go with. But like I said, I don't really like politicians at all. Now, I voted for Ronald Reagan. I'll come out and tell you that. I thought he was one of the better presidents there was. Him and Jimmy Carter. See, I voted across the fence. Carter, these guys were two good people, but that's the reason, well, only Carter, because Reagan had two, but Carter was a one-termer because he was too nice a person and they didn't want him. They didn't think he could just whatever. So, bye-bye, there he went. But anyway, this current administration is crazy. And I'm going to tell you this, because I believe this the way I say it. I don't think anyone should ever rule or be in charge of a country who's older than me. I think I'm too old. 63, I think, is too old to be in charge of something. I really don't believe that a person my age should be running a government. Maybe not 20, but over a certain age. Well, here we go again, friends. This is an inundation that we get every single day here, showing you why a landline is not something you should ever really possess. A lot of people thought, well, we should have it in case of an emergency. When I'm on my day off, this thing rings consistently with bullshit. Numbers I don't know from far away, or your area code numbers, but they'll say out of area. Well, an area code number that says out of area means that person isn't here. They're living somewhere else with your area code. Scams. All day. 30 of these. Every day. Every effing day. And they start about 8 when they legally can and go on all day till about 7. Ridiculous. Well, anyway, that threw me way off of what I was talking about because I'm sick and tired of this stupid phone. Okay? What's going on right now is that my mom's in a nursing home and we can't get her home because of COVID. So I'm by myself here for a while. But, like I said, I wanted to come out and do a video and let you guys know that, yes, I'm here. I do my once a week video. Be prepared for an alien deception because now they're coming out a lot with it. And, we can't explain it. No. Well, guess what? Pretty soon, something's going to happen. It'll be a massive event that's so huge, everyone's going to see it. And all this stuff is played out just like Bob Fletcher said in one of his earlier interviews. It was on a show of Caravan to Midnight. And it was kind of one of those things, like back in the old days. When you're a kid and you're listening to the radio and you kind of envision what a guy might look like, the host, and then he looks nothing like the guy. Well, that's kind of that. The way the guy talks, the guy who interviews it sounds like Chong from Cheech and Chong. But I bet you he looks nothing like the guy. He probably doesn't. He probably is like whatever. Like even old Rush Limbaugh. I mean, I used to like the guy before he got into politics because in the beginning his show was a talk show. And we can go into that later. But anyway, I pictured him as a guy with a beard and all this, and real bald, and kind of a studious pipe smoker, and all that. And he wasn't. He was just some heavy dude who smoked cigars occasionally. And I was like, wow. So he didn't look like what I thought. But anyway, same thing with this heavy mass object dude. Bob Fletcher and a Caravan to Midnight. And he talked about pandemic. He talked about mass chaos. He talked about this and this and this and taxing and all this money, things that would happen. And then eventually E.T. or whoever it was would come and the mass deception would begin. Well, they're doing more and more of that every day. But I believe it's all time. I don't believe it's got anything to do with guys from Dagobah or Zeta Reticuli. And that one like I said, I'll go into that again really quickly because I got about 2 minutes and then I'm going to end it. Again, 2 people, both no longer living. One's my father. One's a guy he knew who worked for the same company, of which I won't mention it. But if you get into that enough, you'll find out who it is. My dad worked for the company somewhere over here, and this guy worked at S4. Can I prove that? No, I can't. But the S4 person told my father in conversation that yes, there were ships, and yes, there were bodies. But his need to know did not go beyond that, and that's all he would tell him. So with that, I believe what they said. My dad had a different position, and he knew a little bit about some of the stuff they did, but he never told us hardly any of it. I mean, my dad was the kind of a guy who never told people anything. He had what was considered at the time, and still is because no one really ever gets it, he had an above top secret clearance. That means my dad could work at S4, walk in one of those buildings and look around. He didn't, but that was what his clearance was. Above top secret is very difficult to get. My dad had it because he worked at a place where they had stuff that they weren't supposed to discuss. And he might see some of it along his way. So with that being said, that's about all I got to go into today. Just understand that there's a lot of things that are coming down the way, and a lot of people don't understand what's happening, but things are happening, and they're changing quickly. So, as I always tell you, if you can go out on a clear night, now that I can see, it's kind of cool. Put your eyes out there. Watch, because there's a lot of things happening. There's a lot of meteors going by. These are not really falling stars. These are more meteors, and there's a lot of them. They're reported every day. Big ones. Earthquakes all over the place. So just understand that a lot of that's happening. Ice melting. Yes, because we're going through a pole shift. One day this will be this. And that's why it's colder in places. The other thing I'll end this video with, Antarctica has wind turbines. Those are still moving, but the ones in Texas didn't. It's kind of interesting. Peace. I'll be seeing you.